Welcome to the BeingPad's virtual tech office hours. I'm Angelin Irvin, the engagement manager for the BeingPad, and we have with us Fred Burns. Fred is an iOS software developer, computer engineer, and founder of Run IT and Frame Booth. He's developed mobile applications that have garnered more than 100,000 downloads and achieved top 5 rankings in Apple's App Store for clients, including public universities, businesses, and individuals. A native of Mississippi, Fred received his Bachelor of Science degree in computer engineering from JSU in 2014. He was a software engineer for American Airlines and JP Morgan before joining Verizon Wireless as a senior iOS engineer, and he transitioned to run his own companies in 2020. So congratulations, Fred. His clients include the University of Mississippi Medical Center, Mississippi Valley State University, JSU, and M-Trade. He's written multiple technical grants as part of his efforts to give back to the community and expose Black people to coding. He's the father of 2 twin boys, Mackenzie and Mason, and he lives in Dallas, Texas. And without further ado, I'm going to let him take it away. He'll be going through a simple app demonstration, and we'll join back in the end for a Q&A.
Got it. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I am extremely excited to be here. I want to make sure, can everyone see my screen? Can you see the gibberish on the screen, everyone? Looks like you can. All right, great. Hi, everyone. Again, thank you so much for the introduction. I'm Fred Burns, born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm extremely excited to be here today and just kind of go over a couple of things with you all. A little background, like she said, I've worked with multiple Fortune 500 companies, learning a whole lot, graduated from Jackson State University. You can't abbreviate and say JSU, you got to put some emphasis on it. But I really, my mission here today is to kind of expose individuals who look like myself, who may be intimidated or may have any wants or desire to get into coding, including children as well, but may not know where to start. I think coding is the way of the future. Whether you code now in your job or your job may not involve any coding at all, I think that it will eventually get to the point where you have to learn how to code. And so I have a desktop here. So let me share this while I'm talking to kind of put something on the screen here. And so make sure you can see my screen. And so I'm going to start sort of with what is coding? Coding is a way that you write languages the same way you speak Spanish, English, Portuguese. Computers understand languages as well too. And you have different programming languages. The language we're talking about today is Swift. Swift is the language that iPhones speak. So in order to build applications for you to build mobile apps, you have to learn how to speak Swift. But there's a process that goes along with that as well too. You do not have to have a computer engineering degree. I graduated a degree in computer engineering, which involves building microprocessors, chips, different electronic devices, and whether the components inside of your smartphones or computers. However, I would say that I have not utilized that aspect of my degree. In fact, when I graduated from college and started working at American Airlines as a software engineer, I wrote code and I didn't really utilize anything, not anything, but the core of my engineering degree. And it all come down to your ability to want to solve problems. And so learning how to write different software languages, and from American Airlines did great. I worked on American Airlines mobile app, worked on their website, worked on some more internal applications for American Airlines, transitioned to JP Morgan and Chase, where I worked on the JP Morgan mobile app, and also then went to Verizon Wireless, where I worked as a senior software engineer on the Verizon Wireless point of sale application, forward to getting that confirmation from God and saying that, hey, you know what, it's time to do my own thing and do this thing full time. And that's when I left December 28, 2019. And hopefully I never have to look back. It's been very rewarding and very liberating because I get to do things like this, which is give back to other people and introduce them into coding, individuals who may not had the opportunity to do so, or who are just lost and don't know where to get started at. And like I said before, it comes down to your ability to want to solve problems. Look for problems in your neighborhood and your community and things in which you can solve that are related to you, and start formulating ideas. I'm going to walk you through my process when I go through making apps. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I won't get so caught up into the technical weeds of things, but I'm gonna give you enough. And also at the end of this video, we're gonna be sending out a list of free resources to individuals who wanna learn from different coding books, videos, and also my contact information. And I do as best as I can to try to reach back and connect with individuals who are having problems. And also I'm gonna publicize the code that we go over today on GitHub, which we'll talk about later, which is a place that you can store all your different your code repositories for your team members to share in a public cloud or a private cloud as well too. So let's get started here. Give me a quick second. I want to make sure. I am going to make sure we can. Great. Share my screen. So my process of making mobile apps, I make mobile apps for different clients, individuals from universities, from hospitals, from private clients, you name it. I take on different applications. A lot of people have app ideas. Everyone has an app idea. And it's great. It's good for business as well too, and it's good for people to constantly innovate and feed their family as well too. But sort of my process is maybe a little different. First, when I had app ideas, I used to go in and I used to go work hard on every app idea I had. I never did any business research to figure out what was out there. Is it something really needed? And I realized that I had a lot of ideas that were just my ideas and people didn't think like me. And that's okay as well too. But as I gradually learned and matured and put some time into learning things, I realized that it's okay to have your own idea. But also make sure you're solving a problem. If your project or idea starts with a problem, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna always have an audience or a market to cater to. And so I start here with formulating I go through the business logic. I ask myself a bunch of series of questions. What is the market? What is the revenue model? How much it's gonna cost to? What is the marketing aspect of things? What is it needed for? What is the demographics? How are we gonna monetize it? Do you wanna monetize it? And different things, and what technologies you'll use. And after I go through those series of questions, then I get to my favorite part, which is this. So you see the screen here, which doesn't look like much to you all, but I'm gonna go through a series of this, which is, this is what I go through when I wanna build apps. I get this little sheet of paper, I sketch out different screens like this with my chicken scratch, yes, it looks like this. I go through all different notes and I write myself notes. And as you see here, and then, and I'm gonna show you different other examples, that's what it turns into. So I write this whole technical document out to my graphic designer that goes in and understands my language. And I let them know, hey, look, I want this screen. I want an unlock screen. I want a sign up screen. And they're able to turn around and make something beautiful like this. More examples of this is, let's see here. Here's another sketch file as well too, where I go through and I do different things like this. This is an app for a client, but I write out all this information here. And then from here, we turn over to something beautiful like this. So, moral of the story, don't worry about your handwriting as long as your designer can understand it. And from this process here, as you can see, it's very similar, well, not similar, but it has some resemblance to what you see on the screen here. And that's what the client wants, and we go through different things. And also we have another app as well too. And this is our app today. We're gonna be talking about this one, which is the BeanPath application that I developed here as well too. So sort of got the splash screen here. At first I was gonna build this app that lists off the different type of beans. I realized that may have been boring. I may have took the word bean path a little too deep and realized, hey, look, people don't want to learn about beans. Then I had this idea last night that, okay, cool. I'm going to list off all the different HBCUs, when they were founded, rank them at the top. I don't care what CNN or Google says, Jackson State is going to be at the top. Then I said, all right, cool. That's all cool and all, Fred, but majority of your audience is going to be from Mississippi today. So kind of let's do something that represents them. But again, I'm still going through this process of sketching out things on the screen, going through the process, what it's going to be, showing how I think things will look. And so let me see, I got a Q&A here and I want to make sure. All right, cool. So let's go to, this is just a screen here. And let's kind of go into, that's my dream car, you all. I do not own that car. I want it and I will get it one day, but that is my dream car by chance. So just to answer that question. All right, this is what coding looked like. This is some code. So I'm gonna make this a little bigger here to kind of go through. When you're writing code, this looks like a whole bunch of just foreign language to a lot of people, a lot of different colors, a lot of different things, but everything makes sense. And so I guess a good practice for me to do is to show everyone what our final product will be, which is, let's make this screen larger here. And I am going to run our app, which is Run It. We was doing the introduction before everyone joined in today. Someone said, is the name of your company Run IT or Run It? And the name of it is Run It. The reason why, anytime you build code, you test it and you want to see if it works, gotta run it. So run it. It's a way of life as well too. And this is our final project here. And so what I'm going to do today is kind of go through what the heck are we looking at and how did you go from this chicken scratch that I showed you all to an application. And again, so you gather your thoughts on your mind, put it on a sheet of paper, right? That's fine. And then next you start looking at what technologies you're going to use. This one, I just use Apple's native technologies, which means that I'm not using any third-party libraries. A way to look at that is to maybe say, if you're going by a Jeep or going by a Mustang from the car dealership, and you just keep all the factory rims, using a third-party library for me in coding language, it means is I go to somewhere off Lynch Street or off Highway 8 or go somewhere in Jackson and get some custom rims put on my car using a third-party library. And with us, we have different libraries in which you can search to kind of help your app enhance and kind of do some of the things for you. Or for me, I say, you know what? This application is simple enough, no need to do that. Just use some of the native things that Apple has provided us with, their native libraries. And so I'm going to close out this for us to kind of make sure that we're not constantly going through different screens all the time. And with me having 50 screens open at once, it gets irritating in my way, but it's good to, when you're not trying to have a screen share. And I'm sorry, before I even get into that, I'm gonna just reiterate over this last point here, which is also as well, this is something I do when I'm also organizing my project. This is a very important task, a very important part of the project in which that I didn't talk about. After you have the drawing, out the sketches and the chicken scratch, you need to organize your thoughts. For me, I use a task management system called Asana. There's many of them out there. Some people just use a list and sheet of paper, whatever works for you. Don't get caught up in the weeds of things. But it's something, just kind of go over every screen of the application, what needs to be done. If you see down here, I got a list of cool resources, which goes back to what? The different third-party software that we talked about. And if I open up this screen, it's going to tell you something about Apollo GraphQL. Nothing you need to worry about now, but basically it's a library that allows you to do different things inside your code. It's a different type of API to retrieve data so that you can display on your app. So again, this is cool library. These are different things. This is stuff that I need to do. This is regarding the app, no proprietary data in here, sensitive data in here, and then plus it's mine as well. As you see over here, I got a list of different projects that I'm working on, which I'm working on a lot. Hopefully that list is going to decrease very soon because like you all, I want to go travel somewhere and go off the grid and not look at a computer screen for 18 hours a day, sometimes 21 hours a day. A lot goes into it. Apple expands, everyone can code programs to bring more resources to students and teachers. I may just save this and get back to the app and show you all at the end, but there are a ton of resources out there for people who want to code, no matter what your background is. And before, even if I get back to this, I want to just share with you all again too, a lot of accolades and things I just didn't disclose. I don't want to get caught into naming off those things, but I'm not your typical coder, as you see, or what the label or the stigma is. I don't necessarily look like one. I don't behave like one, and I don't want to even be put in a box as one. I get labeled as a football player most of the time at every corporate office I've been to, no matter what type of suit I have on, or no matter what I'm doing is, hey, look, did you used to play football or do you play football? I mean, the truth is, I used to play football, but more important than that is you can, and I'm a great question. Someone just asked, is it better to use a Mac or a PC? I get to that question as well, too, at the end with resources. But no, you all, I come from Jackson. I come from the bottom of the bottom, and I come from absolutely nothing. To be real open, something I haven't shared that I was going to wait to probably write a book one day. I actually used to be in special education classes in elementary. Yes, I had people come out because I'm dyslexic, given to some chemical imbalances I had when my mother was pregnant with me, impregnated, whatever that term is. But I have learned this, and still to this day now, you text me, I probably text everything backwards, and you have to kind of know me to figure some things out. But I do write my emails, right? Because I have a software to help me check them. But no, I just wanted to say that where I come from, my first time ever seeing a Mac was when I turned 20. I was at Mississippi State, and people seeing these Mac, and I had never seen a Mac before. I had never coded before. No one had never showed me how to code. It was foreign to me. Where I'm from, you can see a computer or a Mac. You was lucky. I mean, it was lucky. I worried about my lights being off coming home from school. But there was fuel and motivation. That taught me how to survive, and it taught me how to make a way out of no way. And so I just shared that part for individuals out here that feel like I have no reason being in this course. I will never learn how to code. As bull crap. I am a living testimony that if you want to learn something, you can. You find you a great mentor, which I have. His name is Elton. He's actually the lead developer for the Dallas Cowboys, and he's been great. Took me under his wings and just having the ability to learn and the will to learn. So that's some background about that. Let's get into the cool stuff, which is our app. So we have an app here. People from Mississippi. You got Mega Evers, you got David Banner, you got Oprah, you got my homegirl Sean, you got James, you got Dorothy, you got Sheena, you got James Meredith, you got McNair, Tyrone Keys, all these people from Mississippi. We have a lot of great people from Mississippi. And so that's what we're building today. Fred, how did you go from that ugly stuff to this screen over here? And let's walk through some of the code. Don't want to be, again, I don't, and we're going to modify some of this as well too in real time to kind of let you all see where we go from. And again, this section is to kind of do an intro, me trying to explain the meaning behind a UI collection view, or what is a protocol and what is a data model and all these things. That'll be hard. Let me answer this question real quick while I was here when it says, is it better to use a Mac or a PC to code? Great $1 million question. Building iPhone, you can use a Mac or a PC. And you all, a Mac is just a MacBook. A PC is from your Dell, your personal computer, your Dell, your HP, Chromebook, whatever the case, anything outside of a MacBook. The sole reason in which I have a MacBook is because I specialize in iPhone applications. You can make Android applications as well too on a MacBook. However, you cannot make iPhone applications on a PC. Some would argue with that. They have all this third-party or special software that allows you to make applications, iPhone application, but it's a whole lot of pain in the butt stuff and it doesn't work right. Apple designed MacBooks to work, iPhone development to work on Macs. And so you can't use either one. You can write Python, you can write Java, you can write all type of machine learning models. You can do all that with PCs. The exception is just you can't write iPhone applications. And the cheapest way it is to get started if you want to get into coding is to actually go and buy your PC $300 or $400, probably find one for $250, and get in there and kind of go through some stuff. Because you want to get, once you get familiar with the foundation of programming, you're gonna realize that you can learn a whole lot of different languages. I don't necessarily know verbatim every programming language, but I can get in and work from Java, which is a programming language, JavaScript, React Native, Python, all different type of programming languages, Kotlin, all that. I can get in there and read any different type of syntax because I learned the foundation of learning how to write computer software, which is internally software engineering, I guess. And I just specialize in iOS development. So that's the answer to that question on here. From here, what we got here, let's just start from it. We got from the SIP. Basically, this is called a view controller, and that's the title of it. I mean, from the SIP, let's see, got the beam path. So we can run this and we can change that from the beam path here. That's your title of your view controller. Every view controller have your um, a title on there if you want to add it on here. We got Nashley here, who's, by the way, the founder of the Being Path, and the reason that I'm here and having the opportunity to speak. Phenomenal person, all type of accolades. Me trying to introduce her in 30 seconds wouldn't do her any justice. Phenomenal person from the SIP as well too. But we have a name, we have a profile picture, also the name again, and also where they're from as well too. We have there for all the different people here from Banner, from Eggers, and then we also here got a cool effect if we wanted to search, let's say Tyrone. I mean, you see the animation on how things, all that is built into the system as well too once you learn it. So Rashonda, and it filters out the different names as we type. And so here, me giving the color purple, let's see, where is it? The beam path. I gave it the color, this is me setting different attributes on the navigation view controller. Some people say, I want my navigation view controller to be clear. Hey, I don't even want a title. So I want my app to not even have a title for the nav controller. I want it to be self-explanatory. The product speaks for itself, I guess. And so you can come in out code. And there are two things that I just did here. It's just coming in our code. So that lets me know I commented it out, Fred. Dang, Fred, you on live TV and your app stuff didn't work. Actually, it goes over here to your interface file. And that means that I have a navigation title set inside of my navigation controller, which I don't want. So let's go ahead and change that. A navigation bar. And I'm going to change it here so it can always be changed. By the way, this goes congruent with your application. So, you have something called an interface builder, and you also have something called your code here. So to put it in, why I'm changing it as well, I'm going to close that out over here. And I'm going to give us some more real estate here. This correlates. You can actually build apps, and I'll show you. You can build an app without even having this aspect. I put a display photo here. Also, I need to change. Let's put that, that's the home. We can just have this is what you see. So this is give you a visual representation of what you're dealing with here on the screen. And this correlates. This delivery list view controller, I want to change that. Actually, I'm going to refactor that because we don't have, these are just our people, and I don't think they want to even be categorized. So let's just put people list view controller. I need to remember that. And so I'm gonna refactor my code. That allows, refactoring means I can change my code anywhere on the screen. And so let's just make sure that our app still run. Let's run it. Make sure it still builds and does what it needs to do. Yes, it does. And so I need to change my title. Let's do that here. And I don't want to change it here. Actually, I want my title to be changed programmatically. Let's see. Cool. Now we don't have a title there. If I come back out that code, we do. We can change it to that. Also, I want to give this app some more detail. Right now, it's cool. Fred, where do you get all this data from? Like, dang, you acting like app data just come out of thin air. Actually, it does not. You have something over here called your model. So let's go to section. Where is section? And I am not talking about a VIP section at Freeland. That is the name of it. So here, I will traditionally put all this in a database. I will create something called an API, which is Application Programming Interface. I store all this data back in the cloud somewhere. I never put all this information inside of my app. This is something called static data. What is the name of the program when you are using to edit code? Great question nationally. I am using Xcode. I should have covered that. So Xcode is a free program if you buy Apple's Macs. I guess it's not free. It's probably calculated into the revenue model or the cost model. But I am using Xcode. Xcode is a free application provided by by Apple, where you join a developers program, which is another thing. You have to join a developers program to release an app into the App Store. If you want to just learn how to code, teach your child how to code, learn to code with friends, or just play around with things, you can actually sign up for a developer account for free. However, Apple do tax you $99 per year if you want to release software, and it gives you access to a lot of different things. I guess I can kind of do Apple, go to my Apple developer portal. And it gives you access to all of the different things. So they see right here, I'm using Xcode, and that allows you to make your different apps and do stuff like this. But it's Apple Developer. I'm sharing all these lists as well too, but it gives you access to the SDK. I know some of y'all seen iOS 14. Able to download, if you're a developer, got access to it, you're able to download that on your app, on your phone early before anyone else and crash your phone and be test dumped if you want to. Again, they allow you to distribute code throughout the App Store. People make a ton of money on the App Store if you got the right product, is it designed right, and timing's right as well too. So let me get out of it. I want to get back again to the fun part. But as you see, we got national name here. We got an image. Referring where you get this image from. You just see something that says nationally. Well, I actually have a static file here called nationally here. And again, I usually would store all this information inside of a database. I wouldn't put this inside of my app, which allows me to remotely change things. And one of my all my applications, I have the ability to change the interface of the entire application. Interface is how the application looks to the general public. I can change that while you're looking at your phone and you see, oh, that filter changed out, or that content changed out, that color changed, or that whole section is removed because I make it remotely configurable, given that I know things are subject to change, and you want to make sure that data is dynamic, which is what it means. Dynamic is changing, opposed to having this static data. I released the app to the App Store, and I misspelled Sheena's name wrong, or that's why I put 29-ish on her age. If I gave the wrong name or the wrong age, she probably would go off on me, and I had to resubmit a whole app to the App Store, and we don't want those problems. And so that's where the data comes from. That's what you see here. Let's go in this main view controller here. Very technical here, but this is where all the action happens at here for the most part. Just let me know that I got all the celebrity names here. I'm gonna, all the people named here, celebrities, I'm gonna pin them and make sure that they show on the screen here. So let me move that over. In fact, I get the interface builder out the way for now. Going through here, filtering out, this is what we do to search our names here. We got a search controller. If I wanted to change it to look it up, let's say look P. I want to run the app. You can change that. If I want to change the background color of the search bar to purple, I'll say red. How you know the type UI color dot purple? Again, that's learning the programming language here. Everything that you see here, it's a part of the programming. The same way you learn English and you have to learn how to put a comma right before a conjunction, or put and before a conjunction, or whatever the case may be. I write code, I don't teach English, but you understand where I'm coming from. The same way I know to put, I do know you capitalize someone's first name. So you have to learn the same thing here as well too. You have to know that after you put, if you want to refer to something, you have to put self in front of it to make it explicit. You have to learn all these different things, and it's a lot. It's thousands of things to learn, but it's extremely rewarding. Fred, let's change this up and just modify something here. This is referring to the size. As you see, the height dimension of the collection view controller here if it was an iPhone. Let's go to this statement here. It's saying, Fred, this statement, this line of code, Fred, read through a line of code. Right now, this allows me to configure the layout. It tells me how I want the layout to be. I can run this app on an iPhone here, or I can run it on an iPad. So the item count, if it's an iPhone, I want one section. If it's an iPad, I want 3. And it's the same here, the height dimension. If this is an iPhone, this is the inline statement, one line condition statement. If it's an iPhone, I want the height to be 280. If it's an iPad, I want it to be 250. Since this is an iPhone, I'm gonna change it. And as you see, it took away, because we don't have any room to show stuff. Fred, all we got room to do is show, gosh, just the name of the section here. If I make it 100, keep it 100, that's very lame. As you see, so we changing the size of different things. We can make it dynamic as well too. So let's go back to what it was, and we're gonna change some stuff. And so this is the data on here. I build out the data model, which all of them have the name, they have a thumbnail image, they have a birthplace, age, and a bio. Remember, if we go back here, let me break the screen up here and go to section. All that correlates to here. Got a name, got a thumbnail image, got the birthplace, we got their age. All that information correlates to this. So that's the relationship between what we call classes in programming. So, well, Fred, we got the bio. We haven't even displayed the bio. We want to know where people are from. Let's go through and just modify while we still have some time here as well, too. Because I want to leave some time for questioning. And I hope, naturally, I hope this is not the last time. I would love to just actually go through line by line and actually teach this entire application to people and actually introduce this, get people really acclimated to things. So here, let's close out this screen. Let's say here, we want to add the room. So here on this screen here, I need to show my stuff. I'm going to click right here on my content view. We want to show the bio now. So I'm going to put this on the screen because it went to the bottom. Let's go to text. Apple has different components that display information. This right here just happened to be a text view, and it makes all my stuff out of whack. So let me go here and give it a height of, let's say 600. That way we have some real estate to work with. This image is a certain size. So let's take that constraint. That's why the image side, and it's going to complain and say, hey, Fred, can you give me a size, homeboy? So let's get an image of height. Let's go over here. I want that homeboy. I want 200. Can't have all of them. Dang. All right. So we're going to do this text view, and you're going to see with each person. I am totally doing it wrong because shouldn't we have the title and then this constraint? That's the problem here. Shouldn't we have the title and all that? Shouldn't that be first, Fred? Come on now, let's be real. We're going to control, give it some vertical spacing. Here it is 0, my friend. In just a second, you'll see this. That's the issue with that. And if all this ever fails, remember, Command-Shift-Z, which is basically undo. So you're kind of seeing me doing some stuff here. This is complaining about that. So let me give this a text field. All right, so cool. Let me get this vertical spacing here. Basically saying that I want to pin this to all right, we're making some progress here. All right, we want to put here. I'm just going to wing it. I want to say I want the 0 from that one, 0 from here, 0 from here, 0 from here. At my 4 constraints, it's screaming at me, let me know that I got a whole bunch of stuff that ain't gonna work, oh boy. And that's gonna give me errors. But we're gonna show you on how vertical spacing. Now I want to make sure that is 0, 0. Actually, I want this to be 0. All right, let's go here, just for name's sake, and refresh the UI. So where we have name, and we're going to go down here on the for row add, for row index path. And as you see here, where is our name? All right, I gave it a text field. I need to connect this now, and we're going to see it to where it populates the text field. So the bio, and be here. It's a text view. I gave it the wrong type. This is a text view. So I'm going to connect that. Bear with me here, and we are going to connect it so that it displays the information. And it displays where he's from. All right, there we go. So now we made our screens a lot bigger, and I gotta hurry up here. I'm even gonna make the video, make this extremely small just to show you. Basically modifying the information to display it on the screen here. I know we have to go through and get the questions. I am trying to. So now we just go to our view controller here. And we need to set it inside of our cell class. There we go. Celebrity bio, or the bio dot text equals celebrity. I do not know how to spell dot bio. Let's run it. And we need to give it a color. And we need to move it up front. So I'm going to run this now, and then I'm also going to, as you see, the UI is not what we want it to be, but while I answer questions, I'm going to multitask and be doing all this as well too. But as you see, if I wanted to display the information here, I can go in and display the information about everyone down here on this view. So now I know it's time to get to questions, and I am going to answer some more. So could you explain the basic views in controller? Yes, you all, I'm gonna open up the Q&A while I still try to multitask. And I'm just gonna delete everything. We just delete it, throw everything away. Just throw the whole app away. And I go through and program that, and just take off creative constraints. So the basic views, explain the basic of the views and the controllers. So Controllers, as you can kind of see, the actions is what the users would do. When they tap a button here, what is displayed if a user tap a button? Does it display the information here? The views, or you got different type of good question. Where the money? Show me the money. The different views, you got the image views, you got different text views, you got labels as you see here. This is a label. They got the name, they got the birthplace and the age. You also got different web views. But inside of the controllers, you got something called a collection view controller. If you go to the App Store, all of the apps inside of the App Store are displayed in a collection view controller. Instagram is a collection view controller. It's actually a list of different images in which you see scrolling down by different users as well too. So if I get back to this and I just run the app, and it's going to crash because I told you I got celebrity bio here. You can't say that I got this here and you don't connect me to it. Homeboy, it doesn't work like that. But if you scroll down Instagram, you're seeing a list of collection view controllers. So there's some of the background about that. Someone just called me. I thought
I'm back, Fred. I can help with the Q&A and you can probably have an easier time answering questions if I deliver them to you. So
okay.
Melissa Bloom asks, what is the best route to start learning Swift? She's seen that Apple offers some options for learning.
Yes, Swift UI. Swift UI is this new programming language that Apple came out with, and it is absolutely, it's unreal. It made me realize why did I even go to college in the first place? Because you can go, I mean, I have to show you, seeing is believing, but basically it allows you to, and so it allows you to, this is Swift UI, and let's just go to this code. I mean, literally, Swift UI is a programming language that Apple came out with for individuals to help to learn how to code. It's a dynamic type language or decorative type language, which means it's more fundamental and it makes more sense to the average person. Um, it takes me, if you see this chunk of code here, this is probably about, let's say 13 lines of code, and you're over here looking at the stuff that I just wrote, and look at this whole, look at this, look at all this. That's the difference for Swift UI. So they condense everything and then make it fundamentally. That's Swift UI. If you want to learn how to make iPhone apps, Swift UI is the best way to learn how to code because it breaks things down from just displaying the being path on the screen, taking away all this extra stuff that gets in the way sometime of people learning how to code. And they just take, they just put that. We want to make things as simple like that to learn how to put a title on the screen or display your first hello world.
So is
That's
there
what.
an easy way to learn? Is there an online website or a code academy that would make it easy to learn Swift?
Yes, Swift. So that'll be a part of the links I share as well too. Apple just also released the Swift Camp that allows you to go through and learn, and it takes you through every step of it. It's online as well. Also, if you have an iPad and have access to an iPad, or your children have iPads, I strongly recommend using Swift Playgrounds. Swift Playground is what my boys are 9. It's what I started them off with. And if they just so happen to have a Mac, again, you all, I want to make it clear, you do not have to have a Mac to learn how to code. I am specifically referring to building iOS apps. You can be very powerful and do a lot of great things with how to Mac. Trust me, it happens in a lot of different enterprises across the United States and across the world as well too. But if they do have an iPad, Swift Playground is a great way. You actually kids learn how to build this fun game, and it builds this up and teaching them about different functions and teaching them about views and different things, the different aspects of programming.
Okay. That's very useful. And like you said, we'll share all these resources again with all the attendees in a PDF format. We got a question from Tony. She says, the same language that you're using now for still images, can you use that to create an app with motion graphics?
Yes. So let's go to it. You're gonna put me on the spot. So let's see real quick if I can see profile image dot and animation duration dot equals 0.3 seconds. So Apple profile image dot start animate. Apple has something where you can animate different image views, and you got to create a collection of views. So I would create yes, you can use the same thing, but Apple also has something called Sprite Kit, UI Sprite Kit, that allows you to do core animation, core graphics, and things as well too. and also using um, 3D modeling as well too, and displaying different 3D graphics as well too. So as you have to do more in depth with the program, like you see for me, I just display the image. But if I want to animate, I need to create an array of images because I had to have something to animate to show the animation. So I probably put 3 images in one array, which is a data type. It holds data, so an array of the data type. Then I give it an animation duration, how long I want it to animate, and then I will actually give it an animation speed, and then I start animating.
Okay, but that's still done within Xcode as well?
Yes, and so while this is while you're answering the next question, I kind of bring up something on one of my other on frame booth. I probably
Okay.
shouldn't be displaying our code base, but you can go.
So the simple answer to Tony's question is yes, you can.
Yes.
Next question, which programming language would you suggest learning for a beginner? I know we talked about Swift, but are there any others that you would recommend for a beginner?
You all, I get to fighting with people like Nash all the time. I sort of like I do not worship anything but God, but I love Apple and what they do in their developer community, and I strongly recommend Swift UI. Why do you recommend Swift UI? Because they have spent millions of dollars, smart people, to learn how to get out and say, you know what, we realize that more people need access to learn how to code. Let's build something to teach everybody how to code. Apple has spent millions on campaigns to get everyone into coding. And so I recommend Swift UI. I strongly do. And again, I'm going to share some great resources where you see that it teaches you from the basic parts of learning how to code.
Okay, awesome. And Dwayne has a couple questions. So once you're an app developer, how quickly are your apps available to the App Store? And how do you actually monetize them? I think you might have briefly touched on monetization.
Yeah, monetization. Ways to monetize the app. You got a couple of different things here to monetize app. One of them could be I want to put my app in the App Store for $4.99. You see that a whole lot. Not a whole lot, but you see people with their app in the App Store a lot, and it's just a basic cost. So you pay it one time, you own the app. That's it. That's one way a developer can put in there. Keep in mind, Apple be taxing, and when I say Apple tax, Apple takes 30% of every dollar you make. So if you make a million, they getting $250,000 from your million off there. That's one way. Another way is in-app purchases. One of the game apps that I'm creating it is, hey, we're gonna let you have a lifeline and tag 3 people 3 times for free, or see 3 free categories for free. But once you swipe up and do that 4th category, um, we're gonna show you an individual in-app purchase screen and say, hey, look, would you like to upgrade for X amount of dollars? That's another way to monetize. Or you can go to Instagram way, which is free 99 for everyone. It's a freemium, but they also got advertising in there. So you can build your app, get you millions of people using it, or a couple 100,000 people using it. Go to different advertising agencies, go to different people who are sponsors. A lot of different people are trying to spend their money with Black businesses due to the indiscrepancies of what has happened. They realize, hey, we haven't been doing the right thing. So, hey, look, you come up with something that advertises and that directly targets the Black community, you're able to say, you know what, I got all these people viewing my application. Can you pay me X amount of dollars in order for this app to be to put your ad inside of the App Store? I mean, on this app, and when people click it, they're able to go directly to your page. So those are a couple different ways you can monetize your app.
So the third route, you wouldn't actually be in the App Store, would you?
You go to the app. I'm sorry, you said you wouldn't actually be in the App Store, or?
I think I follow you. That was on me. You're saying that you can monetize either through having a paid app, having a freemium product upgrade within the app, or having ad space within your application. Is that it?
Make the app for free for everybody. Facebook and Instagram, if you want to know what that is, just look at Facebook and Instagram.
Gotcha. And then once you're an app developer, how quickly are your apps available to the Apple Store?
Oh yeah, man. So Apple, it used to take a pull up the core animation thing. This is something inside of frame booth. A lot going on here. I talked about that, but once you're a developer, it takes about 24 hours for you to get approved by Apple. It used to take you a week to get your app approved. You had a cool idea, you want to get it out. Apple used to take forever in a day. Now it's really, they have made it their priority to get your app released within 24 hours. So if you got to build, and it passed their process, and their process is rigorous. You can't use, like, if somebody has their brand, you can't use people branding in there. You have to make sure you have a privacy policy URL. You got to make sure if it has different type of explicit things that is labeled in the right category. But you learn those type of things. Screenshot. You got to have the right size screenshots inside of the app. If you look, everything in the App Store is perfectly, as they say, aligned, and Apple has rigorous rules in regards to how their brand is portrayed.
Okay. But it's not too long of a process.
No, not at all. Once you get that under your belt and realize what to do, man, you can get an app. And if I had an app idea and I wanted to put it out there, I could get it up tomorrow. It takes a lot of staying up at night and a lot of future music playing in the background and coffee. But I can put an app out in the App Store tomorrow. I know the process. I know what size the screenshot need to be. I know all the app icons. I know all that. So boom, get it out.
I got another question from Griffin. Can you use an iPad to make iOS apps?
You cannot, as now, you can use it to do Swift UI, like I said, to learn Swift Swift Playground, which is Swift programming language. You can learn to do that on the iPad, but you cannot as of now. The way things are going with Pad OS 14, appears to be that Apple is getting to the point where you can able to use your iPad to do everything that you can do on your computer. There's rumors, but the way they're making their own chips, Apple has started making their own computer chips now, so there's better processors. And I mean, so as of now, no, but you can learn Swift on your iPad using Swift Playgrounds.
Okay, good to know. Femi asks, would you also be sharing designer information that you use?
I will. I will ask what their plate is. I have about 4 that I keep in rotation. I used to go to Sean all the time. I don't know if she's on here. But Sean is out painting murals and stuff now, and it's hard to get in contact with her. But she always sort of gets the first leg in. Yeah, she's great, remarkable. But I have about 4 people, and that's smart for my business as well, too. Right now, I have 10 different apps that I'm designing and working on. Graphics take time. And you don't want to be, just from a business point of view, you don't want to have one dependency on individuals as well too. From the other developers that I work with on my team as well too, you keep a couple in rotation to make sure all of good quality. But I will reach out to them, and absolutely, we all make money. So yes, I have it all.
Thank you. We appreciate that. We got a lot of questions here, Fred. So what
Hey,
happens if
I'm fine. I am fine.
what happens if you want to have the app on Apple products and on Android devices? What language would you use?
You can't speak, Melissa. You can't use the word Android in this chat. I am anti. Ashley says
We got some people that were Team Windows too.
No, great question. You have something called cross-platform application builders. The screen that I have open here is called Xcode. You have something called Xmanium, or you also have different people use something called Flutter, which is a programming language. Not Twitter. Google has developed, or React Native. It's not something that Google developed, but you got in Flutter. Well, they're saying write code once and build everywhere. That says because the iPad application go from anywhere from $1,000 all the way up to $50,000 or $100,000, depending on how complex the application is. Then you got to turn around and build an Android version. You got to pay the same price. When one breaks one place, one breaks another place. You got to build on both platforms, and that can be very expensive. And so they have cross-platform solutions. Some work. If you actually look at Facebook, Facebook is React Native, or React Native. I think React Native and Instagram as well too. That's why the website looks just like the the iPhone application. I think of how much millions of dollars they say. If they change something on the fly, they can do it one time and deploy it on all applications. So I think Airbnb may be React Native as well too. But you can do it if it requires an extreme similar level of engineering or individuals that know what they're doing, and it does reduce your cost overall at the end.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a lot of people have an interest in different platforms, so I'm not sure what you were planning to send out, but if you have some information on like Windows, Android, things of that nature.
Absolutely, you all. Again, you'll see. I have it's a lot of resources learning how to code. You can just learning how to do different projects and stuff. And some people might even argue say that it's easier to build different components. Sometimes you just don't need software. You don't want just an app. I want an app that controls my microwave, and you can easily do stuff with a Raspberry Pi to easily synchronize to different Windows computers and PCs as well too.
Okay. I think this might be our last question. So, can you do the learning portion of the Swift user interface on a Windows computer?
Unfortunately, no. Swift UI it is built for Xcode, so this iPhone application. Maybe I'll follow up and you all will challenge me to really brush on my Android skill in the next section I do. I go over an Android application, which will allow you to use your PC to build an Android app, and you're able to do. They got different terms on the different components, but you're able to build. I mean, there are Android apps that do the exact same thing the iPhone apps do. You have to learn a different language, as I talked about before, but it can be done. But the short answer to your questions, not with Swift UI. Swift UI is made for Xcode. It's the whole part of Apple ecosystem, like the Apple Watch. They want you to have an iPad. They want you to have a Mac. They want you to have all this to continue to make them richer. But it's an investment.
Gotcha. Okay, got a couple more questions for you.
Hey, I'm enjoying this. So, act away.
We're enjoying you. Would it be easier to make a web-based app? So instead of just doing a native app, maybe a progressive web app is what I think they're called.
That is a great question. I'm glad someone brought that up. A lot of times people come to me about apps. I need an app. I'm not even going to specify or industry or things. I don't want to make it so specific. People come wanting an app all the time. I like saving up for that card that you see on the wallpaper. I do, but I also like to be ethical as well too. And I have to tell people all the time, hey, you don't need an app. You need a website that forms certain capabilities. You need to look at your business. Building an app costs money. Building an app costs thousands of dollars. You rarely have an app rarely have an app that's really even under $5,000, depending on the features, just to kind of don't want to get too caught up in the weeds, but it costs money. And when you can get a website that does exactly what you need to do, if you have a shirt, if your t-shirt company is doing great and y'all doing numbers, I'm talking about y'all selling shirts, people are selling out, you need a website where people can go in and easily buy t-shirts. You want to keep the time it takes from seeing your product to checking out. You want it to be quick as possible. You don't even want them to think about buying your product. You don't need to build a whole app for people to just go in and look at different t-shirts on there. You cost yourself a lot of money. It costs not just to build an app. When I build an app, I got to maintain it because iOS 13 is out now. Guess what? iOS 14 coming out this fall. You want your app to work on iOS 14? You have to pay for that. If something breaks in the app, and you always want your app to get better and different features, those features cost by the hour, and a good experienced developer charges you. There's no freemium to doing this type of work. And so, again, understanding your business model, what your business needs, see if there's a really use case for an app. Do you really need to have an application? There's a lot of great websites and progressive websites that get the job done, and it saves you a whole lot of money. And guess what? You don't have to have an iPhone or Android. You can have a desktop, iPhone, Android, iPad, notebook, you can have whatever, and see the same content.
That's helpful. This is actually going to be the last one. So just in case people forgot, where do you actually go to submit your app for approval?
Yes, great question. So you go to something, so when you sign up for an Apple developer account, you get access to different things by Apple, which is your developer portal. So iTunes Connect. Make sure that there's nothing in here. This is one of them. So I would just show, you go here and Apple has a portal where you go in and you submit your different apps. Let me go to just the frame group and so I don't display anymore. These are some of the apps I work on. You know what? You go to the Apple developers account. You just go to your developers account and you have a portal where you submit all your codes. You have to go through all your different developer agreements. You submit screenshots of the applications, and this is just on one of them. Apple wants you to submit certain screenshots of the app. The size of like I told you, you gotta have different screenshots. So they do not play about having different screenshots of your app. It has to be a certain size. And so you would go to your developer portal. I would go in, I will upload my code that I just wrote. So I would go in, I build my code, the binary, and I will upload it into Apple portal, which they give you access to. And then it will come in until it connects to iTunes Connect. and it allows you to see your application here in Apple. You submit it through iTunes Connect and allows Apple to review your code process, log in, make sure everything works, and it'll be available on the App Store. The service has something called Propagate, which would basically mean load your information and refresh themselves. And about maybe 2 hours after submitting your app, users can start searching the App Store and downloading your app. So you go from chicken scratch to coding, to design to coding to the App Store.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Fred. This has been crazy helpful. Thank you for being so transparent about your journey. I'm sure it's inspired so many people. It inspired me. And thank you for correcting me on calling JSU. JSU, it's
Yes,
Jackson
Jackson
State
State University,
University.
the Jackson State University.
So we'll probably make this a series. I'm sure that people are going to have more questions after this. We'll follow up with resources. And if you're interested in having one-on-one help with an expert, we have office hour slots and individual appointments that you can sign up for on our website, thebeampath.org/live. And we'll be back with another presentation for you all soon.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Dwayne. Thank you, everyone, for joining.